So welcome back to Nana's Baba. Okay, so preparation phase. You decide you're going, you've decided who's going. Obviously, if you're probably looking at this, you're a dad going alone. There's a lot of preparation that you need to do or that you can start on even while you're going through your process. Start contacting your agency, finding out exactly where your orphanage is at. Find out what towns it's in. Find out if it's by the town. Find out at what level or tier level that city is. Find out the enviro data, what the environment's like, the water quality, the air quality in that area. Find out what the main points of embarkation into that country are. You know, is it Beijing, GZ, Hong Kong, or, you know, Shanghai? Then find out how far away those embarkation points are from that location. Now, if you're not planning to tack on a vacation before you go or a sightsee trip before you go, your agency will probably handle most of these. They'll probably have it whirlwind where they have a guy with a sign meeting you in Beijing, and it's like taking a pre-scripted Rick Steves tour of China. See a couple little cheesy sights, board a plane, board a train, and get to your kid. I decided right up front that I wanted to see a couple of things and do a couple of things that were unique in China. I plan to right now fly into Beijing, see the Great Wall of China. There is a toboggan ride down the Great Wall. I plan to do that. I want to see Tiananmen Square, the Forbidden City, and that's pretty much all I really want to check out in Beijing. Then I want to board a train, zip on out to Xi'an, and then see the Terracotta Army, and then drop down from Xi'an straight into Hezi. And I want to be able to be in town about 2 days before I have to pick up my kid, so I can see where my kid was at, literally go to the location by the police report where they found her. I want to be able to go around that whole area and get a feel for that area so that if the questions ever come, I can at least have 2 days worth of knowledge in the area before I'm thrust into caring for this child 100%, caring for their needs, and starting the paperwork process to exfiltrate out of China. So the preparation phase is pretty important. On my list, right here on the great clipboard of fun, when I was in my planning phase, I was looking for other things too. We're not a credit card family, but we became one with this process. The only reason we became one was because why pay for travel and all these expenses? Why not pay for these expenses and use the points to buy the travel? Through this process, we've been able to use between two card companies, Capital One, Voyager card, which worked real well. It had one of these intro offers, get 1 million points for signing up and another bajillion points for if you do $3,000 worth of purchases in the first 90 days. Well, we knew right off the bat we had to drop $4K to the agency, so we banged for the buck on that. Also, my USAA card, I have lots of points on it. It was a main travel card back when I was in the military and doing other things, so I still have tons of points on it. So between those two, we should be able to pay for my round-trip ticket, my daughter's one-way ticket, and augment a goodly sum of the hotel stay for both either my vacation up front or for the stay in the two towns we'll be staying in, Hezi and GZ. Say that fast, Hezi, GZ. So that's another thing. Take a look at those credit cards. It's a good way to not have to just, it's kind of like that punch card. Buy 10 mochas, get 1 mocha free. I figured we're already paying this money. If I can get something added in the process or greatly reduced in the process, that would be great. I think it was like $238 on top of the round trip into Beijing, and split exit point Beijing and leaving out of Hong Kong. So that's kind of where you're at in the preparation phase. Also, you begin your research. As you're starting to watch the videos, you're starting to find out what is about how your agency does stuff, you're gonna start having questions like, oh, they're in Hezi. I wonder what Hezi's all about. Well, that comes into reconnaissance, and you can take a look at that. Just keep a list. Keep that running notepad next to your bed. If you list it and it becomes no consequence, you scratch it off. But at least you ain't forgetting it, and at least you don't have to go, oh, geez, I was thinking of something important the other day, but I forgot it. This way, you have something you refer back to, and you can start working down that list. Also, the preparation phase, one of the things I looked at is how are you going to communicate? We'll get a little bit more into that, into the equipment side and the app side, but one of the other things was, hey, I'm going to have a child that's special needs. I don't even know what level of communication skills she has. Regardless of which, I knew that they've been probably talking to her in Mandarin, I would wager to guess. So there was a family out there that made these little flashcards. They're adoption-based sayings, like this one is, let's go to sleep, colors, numbers. It's got family members, all these things. There's about 50 flashcards here. And the great part about it is if you look at them, it's done phonetically in English with accents on where you should be putting your accents as you're saying them. This is something you can begin right now. Taking these flashcards, doing no more than 5 a night until you get memory on them. It's a great way. I have lots of phrases I've learned through these flashcards. The other cool part is you can go over to Google Phrasebook or Google Translate in their Phrasebook function, and you can enter in these cards the way that they're written in Mandarin, not the English translation, but the Mandarin translation, and you can make a speaking phrase book. So almost like when you were back in high school learning a second language, you can have your significant other or someone press the speak key and it will say the Mandarin phrase and you can repeat it in English, or you can, you know, test yourself both not only hearing it by a native tongue speaker. That's another important thing. Learning these cards are great, and this is a big part about your preparation phase, but the important part is you don't want people hanging up on, look at the cute foreigner saying Mandarin, but I can't understand what he's saying because I'm so hooked up on his accent or his interpretation of how to enunciate this word. So it's really good to get some native speakers around you so that you can bounce these off of them so that they can tell you, yeah, that sounds exactly the way it's supposed to sound. I'm not confused at what you're saying. And that was my main important part with these cards. And I had a couple of friends and a couple of people at work that were really able to help me with that. You'll be surprised. Ask around work with whatever country you're adopting in. You'll probably find someone that speaks that native tongue within 2 or 3 friends. Also, we've talked about finance preparation with the credit card. We've talked about adoption agency preparation. That's that expectation management that we've talked about. Find out what they're going to do, what their program is. A lot of times they'll say, yay, your step's out, wait. Keep persistent. Tell them to send you the paperwork. That way you can get an idea of what you're up against or what you're going into or what hidden fees they have for when you get into the country. That's really important. Remember, most important expectation is yours on this one. But what you start to find is I've identified my air hub, I've identified my out exfil air hub, I've identified my internal, how I think I'm going to move through that country, whether it's by their airlines or by train or by taxi. I've identified the hotels. By looking at some of the other travel guides, the featured guides, you can see what some of those 5-star hotels are. They're about 2-star American hotels. So just start your listing, start your research, and as you start seeing products that you might want to take or might want to purchase, awesome time to research them. Amazon is a great consumer reports on that. I'm like you, I probably go the lowest reviewed first. So that's preparation phase. Next we're going to go into the recon phase. I hope this was enjoyable, and I'll see you on the next one.